Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky made a passionate plea to Congress Wednesday, asking for more help to fight off Russian forces. President Biden later announced an additional $800 million in military aid for Ukraine. But the White House says it still does not support implementing a no-fly zone, something Zelensky has repeatedly called for. Meanwhile, Russian forces are intensifying their attacks on cities and civilians. Ukrainian officials say a theater serving as a shelter was targeted in Mariupol. This satellite image shows what it looked like before Wednesday's attack. And in Kyiv, Russian shelling damaged a 16-story apartment building. There were at least 2 casualties. It's unclear if they were killed or injured. CBS News correspondent Tom Hansen joins me now for more. Tom, good to see you. So where does it look like Russian forces are headed next?
Good to see you too, Elaine. Well, there are 4 areas that we're monitoring where Russian troops are making up ground. The first area is the capital city of Kyiv. This is being closed off essentially from all sides, from the northwest, the north, and the east. Russian troops are trying to encircle the city, cut it off from the rest of the country. A large portion of the population has already evacuated. As you may remember, the mayor of Kyiv just a few days ago said that over half of the population has fled. The next area that we're taking a look at is Kharkiv. This is an area that saw some of the first fighting when the Russian invasion began. It's seen intense shelling ever since. Now, this area, surprisingly, has not fallen to Russian troops. The Ukrainian troops have done a pretty good job of fighting off the Russians and pushing them back, but a very precarious situation right there. Now, the third area that we're looking at is the Donbas region. This is the area that Vladimir Putin originally just used as justification in order to invade Ukraine. It's been sort of a miniature war zone since 2014. Russian-backed separatists fighting Ukrainian troops. Russia has claimed control over this area along the border, but a large portion of this is still not claimed by the Russian troops. And the final area right here, the Crimean Peninsula. This is the territory that was annexed by Russia in 2014. Russian troops are using this to wage an assault on Mykolaiv, this coastal city. Mykolaiv has not fallen yet, but it is facing serious shelling, serious missile attacks. And if it does fall, military experts anticipate that Russia will then move on to this key coastal port city, Odessa. And take a look at this. If they are able to claim this land, then they will have the control of this entire coastline of the Black Sea. That not only disrupts Ukrainian supply chains, it also gives the Russian military access to all of these important ports as they wage an assault on the rest of the country.
Such a precarious situation. We know as well, Tom, Russian forces have set their sights on Ukraine's nuclear power plants, and they are in control of at least 2. What are the concerns there? Yeah,
nuclear facilities are a huge concern, Elaine. I want to pull up the map right here, if we can, and it looks like that we are pushing in right now. So there are nuclear facilities all across this country, 4 different regions. There are 6 nuclear reactors in Zaporizhia. There are 3 in southern Ukraine. Up closer to the Belarusian border, there are 4. And then down south just a little bit, there are 2 more. That's 15 nuclear reactors that provide Ukraine with about half of its power for the entire country. So this is important because if Russian troops take control of any of these nuclear reactors, they will have control over portions of the power that Ukrainians use day to day. The other thing that environmentalists are flagging the alarm for is the possibility of an environmental catastrophe in the form of a nuclear meltdown. If that happens, that could spell out trouble for not just Ukraine, but Russia and the region around Ukraine, Elaine.
Such a frightening prospect. So what about diplomacy then, Tom? What kind of progress is being made on the diplomatic front?
There's a little bit of good news, or promising news, I should say. Both sides say they are making progress in peace talks. It's not entirely clear what that progress means, though. We know that the topic of Ukraine remaining neutral and out of NATO is one of the points that's being discussed. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov told a Russian TV channel that there is hope for reaching a compromise in negotiations. But, of course, that is juxtaposed with intense fighting all around the country, something that has only escalated since the conflict began, Elaine.
Such a precarious situation. Tom Hansen, Tom, thank you very much.